I think we have this self-judgment that we're the only one that thinks these thoughts, and then we shame ourselves for it, and we don't realize that there's so many people that think the same thoughts. But I also want to say that,
hey everybody, on today's episode we're going to say the things that are in our minds but we never say. So the three of us are going to be pretty vulnerable, talking about things that we're thinking that we don't actually say out loud. Stay tuned for this episode. Watch until the end. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Unrivaled and Rising podcast. I am your co-host, Michelle Kavanaugh, with the two wonderful ladies, my soul sisters, Kimberly and Terry.
hi everyone.
Hey, how's it going? We are on the cusp of them going on an emotional, spiritual journey as they go see Dr. Joe in Florida. So we're going to see, this is the recording before they go. We're going to see how they are after they come back on the next recording, which will be episode 16. And we're going to see how they are and if they've had any kind of spiritual awakening while they're there. What are you expecting, guys?
Oh, an incredible experience. Yep. I'm just going I'm going to be just present, and I'm going to be present in the moment. I'm going to welcome in whatever it is that is for me. There's something there for me, waiting for me, and I'm just surrendered to all of it.
Yep.
My mind is open. I'm curious. I'm optimistic. I'm expectant. And there's going to be an unbelievable experience to be had. I'm very excited.
I was telling Michelle, I'm excited. I think the last time I felt this kind of excitement was before I took my kids, my whole family. We went to Florida a couple of years ago. But this is the first time I've felt like that type of excitement again.
Yeah.
It feels really
This is just it's so funny that we leave tomorrow, because last week was filled with, I had one day off last week. I finished my clinicals, and the week of school, the week of work was just incredibly challenging. And so I really had to focus on my own energy. And thank God for awareness, because I could feel my coworkers' energy, and it was a very challenging environment the last several days at work. And so I am just so grateful for energy, for my own awareness, and that I have the ability to manage my own energy, because it got me through the last several days. And I am so ready and so grateful and welcoming this week of self-care and self-love that I am so deserving of. Yep. And I am so excited that I get to come back renewed, replenished, re-energized, and just full of purpose, and just ready to just continue to make a difference in the world. And so I'm just so excited. And I'm so excited to be able to go with Kimberly. And we've already met Christine, and we have a couple other women that we're going to connect with at the airport in Fort Myers. And so we're already making friends and connections. And so it's going to be a phenomenal time.
Yeah. And I'm going with open heart, open mind, ready to receive, and just looking forward to just the calm and the peace. And just, it's hard to explain when you're meditating with that many people. It's like you go, at least my experience was, you go in so quickly. Like it's just an incredible feeling. It's hard to explain unless you experience it.
Yeah. It's not true. It's an experience.
It is. It is.
Fabulous. Exciting. Well, we'll see how it is when you guys come back. We'll talk about it when you come back. We'll do an episode on it and talk about that experience. It's going to be exciting. So that is cool. Today, however, we're going to talk about a little bit of kind of the thoughts that you have in your mind that you don't say, the things you don't say out loud. I think the reason for me wanting to do this topic is just because I know there are people out there listening or watching that have thoughts that are similar or other thoughts like this that they are currently thinking, and while they're watching or listening and they're afraid to say them, or they somehow think that something's wrong with them because they're thinking them or anything like that. And I just want people to feel like, we are humans that are sharing the same space, living in the same type of existences. And so we need to support each other, understand that we're not different. We are the same. And I want you to feel supported in that. And so I really wanted us to be vulnerable today in that we are sharing thoughts that we have that we don't say. And that was my reasoning for it. I don't know, Terry and Kimberly, if you have a different thought process on it, and that's completely fine. But that was my reasoning behind it.
I like it. I think it's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to sometimes, because the thoughts are not good thoughts sometimes, and it's hard to say them out loud. And, whether that's because of shame or guilt or whatever, but I know that they're thoughts that other people have as well. So I think they're important to share, and that it's okay. And this is a safe space to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I would piggyback on that because I think that we shame ourselves for having certain thoughts, and I think we have this self-judgment that we're the only one that thinks these thoughts, and then we shame ourselves for it, and we don't realize that there's so many people that think the same thoughts. But I also want to say that we don't have to believe everything that we think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so it's sometimes a thought is just a thought, and you can just let the thought go by.
Go. Yep.
So
Scroll on by.
and just go, I am the observer of that thought, and I don't have to get emotionally involved with it. And when I learned that tool, that was just life-changing for me. So because I thought I was my thoughts, and my thoughts were consuming me. And so that is, if this is something that our audience has never heard, that because I didn't know that. I didn't know that I wasn't my thoughts. And if I had the thought, well, that had to be me,
Right.
So if that's new information for you, this is going to be a great topic to talk about. And I want to say one other thing is that I still have thoughts. And that those thoughts don't just go away. You still have thoughts. Even I don't care how much therapy you have. I don't care how much you've healed. I don't care how many coaches you've had or how well you're doing in life. You are still going to have thoughts. And so, shaming yourself or feeling bad about thoughts that you have is not a good strategy. And it's okay to have the thought, just letting it go.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say too, go ahead, Kimberly.
No, I was just going to say is that I still obviously have thoughts, but not nearly as many as I used to have.
Right.
I don't walk around with that sick feeling in my stomach that I had most of my life until a couple of years ago.
Right.
And when it was gone, I remember telling Dr. Ed, and he was like, well, do you miss it? I said, well, I don't know. I mean, I was so used to just having that pit feeling in my stomach. And when it was gone, it was strange. I mean, I still have thoughts, but not nearly as many as I used to all the time, just berating myself.
Yeah.
So that's one change I certainly have noticed. But yeah, they're still there. They're still there.
Yeah. They kick back up. And the goal of this too isn't for us to try to say, if I say something that I'm feeling, Terry, you guys, Michelle, we're not trying to solve each other's problems today. We just want to talk about the things that we're saying. We all know that we're supportive of each other. We all know that we believe in each other. So, it's not like this is a therapy session where you have to try to heal somebody today. This is more just about supporting each other as we say things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, we can't heal anyone. We have to work on ourselves. That's the only thing we all can do.
We've got our own
independent. That is an inside job. That's no one else's job. A therapist can't heal anyone. They can help you and assist you and guide you, but they can't heal you.
Yep.
Yeah. So, who wants to start? Anybody?
Well, this was your topic of choice.
The thing that for me that I think often is that this is embarrassing to even say, but it's the thing that I think a lot of, and this impacts my ability to open myself up to a loving relationship is that I don't think I'm attractive. I think I'm fat. I think my body is disgusting. And I don't think that anybody would find me attractive. And I'm embarrassed of it. This is the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life. Even when I was 9 months pregnant, I wasn't this heavy. So this is the fattest I've ever been. And I shouldn't even use the word fat, but that's what I'm thinking. So and so I'm embarrassed by it, and it's holding me back. It's keeping me in a place where I don't feel like I'm worthy of someone. I am comparing myself to others in this thought, which I don't like to do, and I've been working on not doing, but I still do it, and I compare myself to all the images you see on TV and everywhere else. We have all these beautiful women, and I don't match that profile. So it's something that holds me back for sure. And I've had this thought for pretty much my whole life. This is not anything new. But you tend to pick people then that, and this is what I've done in my past, that you feel somehow you're better than, because then they won't leave you, or you got something up on them or something like that. I don't know how to explain it any differently than that. But I've picked folks that have had problems because at least then my problems aren't so big, or whatever, that kind of thing. So that's really what I'm thinking. That's the kind of stuff I think. And I've not been successful in a relationship yet in my life. And so I think I even self-sabotage the last few that I've had that I thought were good choices for me, where I self-sabotaged because I was insecure and I was afraid they were going to reject me at some point. So I did it first. So that's the kind of thing I'm thinking. And so that's a thought that I have pretty regularly. I say out loud that I don't need a relationship. I'm just I don't have time for that. I'm very happy by myself and all that. And I do enjoy spending time by myself, and I am comfortable in that. But I really do. If you dig deep, I really do want to be in a relationship and have a partner and be able to go do things with them and have a companion in life that sees me and walks through life with me. I do want that. So I think I'm just saying the other thing because I don't want to admit to myself that I have these negative feelings about me.
So have you said what you really want though?
What do you mean?
Have you been able to verbalize or write down what you really want?
As far as a relationship?
In a relationship?
Yeah.
I used to. I used to do that. I used to have it on as part of my journaling of what I was looking for. But I haven't done it recently.
Okay.
Do you think that's changed?
I think that I have had some blocks around it that I'm embarrassed.
That's my question.
Embarrassed
what's the resistance there? Yeah.
I think because I'm feeling gross, because I feel not good about my physical appearance. I think that's where the block is. And so I don't want to attract somebody into my life because I feel insecure about the physical appearance. That's probably why I've been journaling it anymore.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, you are doing something about it because you are getting yourself active and you are making some changes. Yeah.
I am. But I shouldn't have to see that as an issue.
No.
There's lots of people out there that are happy, healthy. They're not looking at physical appearances as the reason why they date somebody. Nope. They're looking for a person. They're looking for a soul. They're looking for, somebody that can be with them. So
all of that fades.
Yeah. That should not be holding me back is what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah. But because it is.
People are going to love you for who Michelle is.
Exactly. And and I recognize that. And that's why, I have awareness around it, but it still doesn't keep those thoughts from holding me back for sure. And that's something I'm working on. There are times when I have an enormous amount of confidence. It's so funny when I'm not looking for someone and I'm out in the world and I'm very confident because I'm not looking for someone. I'm just out being me. That's when they are attracted to you. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, oh, this is weird. Somebody's paying attention to me and I wasn't even expecting it.
Because your energy wasn't focused on that.
Yeah. So it's like, that's the weirdest stuff. I have lots of male friends because on a previous episode, you guys, we were talking about masculine energy. I have a lot of masculine energy. Yeah. I'm around construction workers and these really masculine dudes. And I am able to be one of their bros, really easily. It's like, I relate to this group of people and I am I have lots and lots and lots of male friends. So it's like, and I find it odd when one of them likes me more than just friendship. I'm like, what? You know, I thought we were bro. I don't even pick up on it. I just feel like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's weird like that. But I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's the thing that I'm thinking about on a regular basis. I do.
Have you ever talked with any of these guy friends about how you're feeling?
No. But I'm going with Rob to
Oh,
St.
that's
Lucia.
right. St.
Yeah,
Lucia.
that's coming up.
Yeah, he's in Canada. He's a good buddy of mine. And we're going. And so I should have this conversation with him.
Yeah, because I've got a good friend, Robert, that I've had since 1998. Him and my friend Jennifer, that since we were 10, the three of us are really close. That's why I went to go back to see in Chicago. And he's definitely somebody that I could have a conversation like that with. You know what I mean? That would be very just open and, you know, just get that guy's perspective.
Yeah.
And just, you know, and they're probably going to say that. I mean, guys look at boobs. We know that, right? They always look at boobs. But I mean, the rest, didn't you say that about one of your friends? Something said that, yeah, we're always looking at the boobs. Like
my friend Jay I always remember him saying that, because he said it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter if you're 80 or whatever, we'll still take a look. You know, just like, okay, Jay.
I still think many of them also look at the character.
Oh, absolutely.
Character and integrity, that is important to a lot of people. You know, and you know, those are valuable qualities. And so, and women, you know, we don't give ourselves enough credit for those values within ourselves, because the world has programmed us that it's all physical, you know, and it's not just, and it's really, to be honest with you, it's not men that have programmed us that way a lot of the times. It is marketing. It is it is wellness industry. It is diet. It is all of that stuff. It is even healthcare sometimes, when they're telling you that you have to reach this BMI, that sometimes is this number that sometimes is not always the healthiest for some people.
Yep.
You know, so it is so many other things that a lot of times it is not men that are setting this up for us. It is our own selves that are setting this unrealistic expectation. And we set ourselves up against things that I didn't know a lot of times were marketing things that were airbrushed models that were actually not real, you know? And to us, we think that it's real, you know? So, and working in an eating recovery center with women who, and not just women, men too, when it comes to testosterone and all this kind of stuff, and having these built bodies, it is a real thing. And it's not just for women. Primarily, that is a bigger majority, but it is men too. And it comes from, it can come from even just living in an environment where the mother this is the beliefs that she had, and the daughters grew up seeing that. You know?
I was going to say, that's how I remember from a young age, my mom, making a comment, I think it was probably like 10, about how I wore bigger clothes at that age than she did. It's like something we'll never forget. And she probably didn't mean to, but it's something that, and I understand now why I was heavy when I was younger. It was protecting myself because of all the abuse and everything. But I mean, and she was always small, and it was kind of like what was expected. Yeah. And if you weren't, then.
And that was same with me. Like my dad, and it's so funny because and I've said this before. My dad, said something at a very young age that I just, and we're so impressionable at a young age. Like we just soak this stuff in like a sponge when somebody says something, and we unconsciously accept this story that somebody says. And my dad just, not thinking, just kind of, we're eating at dinner one day, and my dad was huge on eating as a family. And we were sitting at dinner one day, and I was just going to grab seconds for dinner. And he said, "Don't eat too much. You're going to get fat." And that was all it took. And I can tell you, I can still picture that whole scenario like in my mind. I can see that whole thing playing out like it was yesterday. And I can tell you on pictures when I was a little girl, I can see where I started to change.
Yeah.
You know, and then just noticing, because men notice women and women notice men. That's a human nature thing. It wasn't my dad thing.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so I just started to create these own narratives in my own mind of, oh, that's what women are supposed to look like. So here, as a young child, I was creating these own stories that later on, as an adult and throughout my whole life, I was self-sabotaging myself unconsciously. And it wasn't my dad's fault. It was something very innocent that he said that he had no idea was going to do this, but it did. And it was these own crazy things that I've said to myself, right? And so I didn't know what body checking was and all that stuff until I go work at an eating recovery center. And then I start to realize my own things and my own relationship with food and my own safety, you know, as a child when my parents were struggling in their marriage, that I actually found a safety and a thing that I can control when I had a relationship with food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'm still like Nelson and I went to dinner the other night, real nice Italian place. And the busboy, or I don't know what they call him now, I don't want to offend anybody, but the person that was clearing the table and bringing water and stuff, like he kind of jokingly said, "Oh, you guys must have been hungry." And I just kind of laughed and I said, "Oh yeah, I guess we were." And then like every time he would take something, he would say something. And it was, I could feel it kind of triggering me. And then I heard him saying it at other tables too. So I was like, okay, it's just kind of his thing that he thinks funny. But it was kind of bothering me. You know what I mean? It's like, just take the damn plates and move on. Well, like, why do you have to say it? You know, but it made me think, all right, you're getting triggered by this. What's going on there? And then I actually started talking to Nelson about you working at the eating recovery. And I said, you know, I'm still struggling with my own issues with food. I mean, it's much better than it used to be, but you know, it's happened a long time ago and it just keeps going and going and going and going.
And you know what's so funny is that up until I started working there, I was always thinking this was just what my dad said.
Right.
You know, but it goes deeper. There was like a safety thing. It was like kind of a coping mechanism. Like there was like a sense of safety I was getting with my relationship with it. And I was feeling, you know, safe. And honestly, you said something, Kimberly, just a little bit ago about you know, keeping yourself safe because of abuse that happened to you. And so sometimes I know that I had at times self-sabotage myself sometimes unconsciously being able to stay out of a relationship because it's like, oh, that might just be scary or my safety might be at risk. So maybe I'll just stay comfortable right here. You know what I mean? And so I'm starting to kind of understand this a little bit more, but I'm not happy with it. So now it's like, oh, okay, this is just awareness, and it's an unconscious pattern that I've had, and so working through this, you know,
and giving yourself some grace because you know, recognizing it is huge, right? And understanding why I reacted or why I did that it was a safety thing. And you know, I often tell myself, you're safe. It's okay.
Yes.
And it seems, you know, the first couple times I did it, it felt a little ridiculous.
I know.
You know what I mean? But now it's like when I feel it coming up, I can just put my hand on my heart and say, you're safe. You're okay.
And like they don't, that's not what it means. They're not meaning anything personal.
You're okay. And I can just feel my body just calm. So it works. Yeah. But I can tell when I'm feeling unsafe.
I had to really have a forgiveness with my grandmother because she was very critical. She was old school. And I took care of her after my mom died until she passed. And she passed away in 2021, I think, or 2022. I can't remember.
Jeez, Michelle,
she was very
your grandma, now you're
mom passed. And then she moved back to South Dakota to take care of her own mother. But my grandma was in better health than my mom was. And so my mom passed, and then I took care of her. And she was in the nursing home the last couple of years of her life. She lived to like 97. But she was very critical of me physically, even, so I'm just talking about 3 years ago, but she used to say negative stuff to me all the time, to my face. Oh, your hair looks horrible like that. Why is your hair like that? One time we were there for Thanksgiving. It was just Antonio and I. It was just the two of us went to visit her. And I went to get something out of the refrigerator. She was a great cook and took a lot of pride in the food that she made and loved feeding people. But you couldn't eat too much, because if you ate too much, then she would criticize you for it. But I went to the kitchen to get butter or jelly or something for the bread that she had on the table. And she said, if you wouldn't, Michelle, if you wouldn't eat so much, you wouldn't be so fat. And it just took me, and it was Thanksgiving, and she took me back. And so, something. And then I said something, I said, Grandma, I'm just getting butter out of the refrigerator. And she said something, and then she just kind of kept going with it. And she started kind of going, and Antonio and I finally got up, and I said, I'm not going to talk to you when you're like this. And I walked into the bedroom, and Antonio followed me, and I said, pack your stuff. We're leaving right now. And she went into the bathroom and started crying, I think. And we just packed our stuff and we left, and we drove back to Denver from South Dakota. It's a 10-hour drive. And I just got in the car and took off. And I didn't talk to her for a couple of months, but I always went back. But it took me a long time to, at the end of her life, when I took care of her and all that, I just said, I think I was working with Dr. Ed at the time too, Terry. And I just started coming into my own, where she's not really saying this about me. She's having, she's at the end of her life. She knows it. She had a horrible upbringing, horrible upbringing. Didn't even go. I think she's stopped going to school in the 7th grade or 6th grade or something like that. She was not, got married at a very young age, very poor when she was young. So she had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I just had to start separating myself from her stuff.
Yeah.
And so when she would say stuff to me at the end, I would just I'm my hair looks, it's just, I'll fix my hair when I get home. I mean, I don't know. I would just have to respond and just let it go.
Yeah.
It was hard to continuously, knowing I already have these issues with my physical appearance. And then you go in there and somebody you love, your grandmother's like, you're fat, or you've gained weight, or you've this. I mean, she would immediately, as soon as you would see her, she'd immediately talk about your physical appearance.
Well, and when you're not aware of this work and you don't know that that's what's happening, I did the same thing when I was not healthy mentally. Like when I was just getting very defensive, and by the way, on our mastermind today, I was catching myself getting a little defensive.
You were, yeah.
I was getting a little triggered. And
like I said, Dr. Ed, I just went over that. I was like, okay, that's what we're doing today.
Oh, and I say this because we are always still working on ourselves.
Yeah,
we are.
So it's being aware of it. And I recognize that, but I would have done it. That is like a way toned down version of what Terry used to be. Because, and when somebody, and the reason I say that, Michelle, is because when somebody's doing that, it is so much easier to say something horrible and mean to someone else when we're feeling crappy about ourselves, because then it just makes us feel more powerful. And when it's like
bullying.
Yeah, it is bullying. And when it's easier to tear someone down and feel powerful, you think that you feel powerful and that you feel, but you're really hurting yourself. And I was hurting myself in so many ways when I was actually hurting other people. I was actually hurting other people, but I was hurting myself more. And that strong person that I was portraying, that was really a very weak person. And that was not the best version of me. And so where I was coming off, where people thought I was mean and hard to deal with, that was a very weak version of Terry, and a very painful, very hurting version of me. And so when I was being hard on other people, people didn't realize how hard Terry was being on Terry. Like I was 150 times worse on myself. And they saw it coming out on them, but I was tearing myself to pieces. Inside, way worse.
I've always said I can beat myself up better than anybody else can.
Oh yeah,
big time.
Well, even like, you know, me with my sister that I'm not talking to, who's spreading rumors and just plain lies. The old me would have called her and confronted her. But I'm like, you know what? This says more about her than anything else. I mean, if she needs to spread rumors and lies to make herself feel better or try to look better, right? That says more about her. What that doesn't need is
A reaction.
or response from me.
Yeah.
Just, you do
Yep.
you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's having that awareness and being able, like I said, the old me would have called her. We would have had a fight. We would have. And what's that going to do?
100% agreed.
You know, let it go. Sometimes silence is the best response.
Absolutely. What does anybody else want to share one? That was a good one, by the way. And that was good conversation around that. Because that's, I think, something a lot of women do to themselves. You know, we are comparing ourselves to other women all the time, and we're comparing our physical appearance, and we're insecure about stuff. And I think that was one that maybe a lot of us feel. So
I'll
Okay, go ahead, Kim.
say what I was going to share. So I think I've said this before. I'm on my fourth and final marriage. But sometimes I get triggered or I get bothered, and I'll just think, you know what, maybe I'm just not made to be in a relationship.
oh my gosh, I've said that to myself.
You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, relationships are a lot of friggin' work.
Yeah.
They are. But I have a different attitude about this. I have a different, like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make this work, which means you have to work as a team. But that still comes up for me from time to time, like, especially if we're going at it or, you know, we're not in alignment. And I'm just like, you know what, maybe I'm just not meant to be in a relationship. Maybe that's, you know, maybe that's why. Because, you know, my husband often tells me, you know, you're hyper independent. And again, that's that masculine. And I'm recovering, right? I'm trying to work through that, but it still sometimes bears its ugly head. But again, it's that safety piece. I've not been able to rely on anybody until my husband other than myself.
Yeah.
So it's hard to open up and you know, I still haven't totally, because I still have to protect myself. At least I feel like I have to protect myself. So, but
I have said that one to myself, Kimberly.
Okay.
I've also said to myself, I'm just not good at this.
Yeah. Like
I just have to accept the fact that I'm just not good at this.
Yeah, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Like I just, yeah.
I've said that. And then when you say that to yourself, no wonder you're not in a relationship, because you basically, you know, no wonder you sabotage yourself. I used to always apologize in every argument ahead of time. Like I took responsibility for it every time. I'm just not good at this. You know, I'm sorry that I was acting that way. I mean, I would always take accountability for everything, no matter if it was their fault or my fault. I would take accountability for it and just say, oh, I'm just not good at this. And, you know, I struggle with this. I used to always say that. And so no wonder, you know, after time, they would never take accountability for anything because I always took it.
Where I have the opposite. At least I've been told by my husband, can't you just apologize? And I could admit, sometimes I have a hard time with him apologizing. I don't know why. I don't know. And it feels like because he is so forgiving when I do, and that I don't know why. Like my mom says sorry a lot, but it's just like says sorry like about silly things, like not really sorry. You know what I mean? Like so it doesn't have a whole lot of meaning to it. So I think maybe that's where that comes from for me. But I've been trying to look at that a lot of times. I'm like, why do I have such a hard time saying, you know, he's like, is it your pride? And I really don't feel like it is a prideful thing, or I'm just too good to say sorry. I don't know why. I don't know where that comes
Maybe
from.
you should talk to your counselor about that, because that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
There's got to be some underlying thing there that you're admitting fault or admitting that you're wrong or something. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on there.
Yeah. I don't know what that's.
I'm the opposite. I can say I'm sorry for you, Kimberly. I'm like, I'm sorry, Kimberly.
I'll text you. Can you tell Nelson I'm sorry?
I'm so sorry, Nelson, that I made Kimberly upset, and now she's taking it out on you.
I mean, I'm getting better. I'm like, just friggin' say it already, you know, or like even if we're upset and he goes up to the bedroom, I would go into another room or stay downstairs but I'm coming back up and I'm like, all right, this is silly. Let's move past this. Usually I try to throw it, I'm sorry. But I don't know why I get stuck on
You
that.
could get the bird to say it for you, Kimberly.
Yeah, I'll teach us.
I'm kidding.
Mom is sorry.
Any thoughts on that, Terry? Why somebody would not want to say they're sorry? Is it just not admitting that you're wrong, or what?
For me, it's a pride thing.
Yeah, see, I don't
for me, it would have been a pride thing. And here's the thing about pride. So when I was in my 12-step recovery, that was the one thing I never wanted to admit that I had. And in my 12-step recovery, that was the one thing that was revealed that was a character flaw for me. And when I realized, when I feel like the Lord showed that to me, I felt like I got a punch in the stomach. I was out of breath. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, that was so hard for me to come to terms with, that I actually had pride. And I think we all have it.
Yeah.
I think mine was a little teetering on the unhealthy side. And it's so funny because it was one character that I could detect it in anybody. And I pointed it out in people, by the way. And so that was a clue for me that it was definitely in me. And so, and I would actually literally tell my ex-husband, call it out and say, that is one of the 7 deadlies, literally. And it was in me, you know what I mean? So for me, it was pride. It was just that I just didn't want to ever admit that I was wrong. I have a really hard time admitting that I was wrong about anything. And so that I had to have the last word, and I just didn't want to. I never wanted to be wrong. I was going to fight tooth and nail to have the last word, and I was going to be right. That was just me. And I tell you, if any of my family's watching this or my kids, they will tell you, yep, she's admitting it.
They're like, what? Just keep it.
Yeah, no, I've definitely had some of that too. But you know what? That may also be part of that masculine.
100%.
Let's blame it on that.
Well, it's because I just it's part of that control too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and maybe in my own mind I had reasons for why it was right. But you know, like I say, sometimes trauma in my own mind can I tell the women, I use my glasses for instance. When people are up close, I don't need them, but when they're far, I can't see. And it fuzzies the lenses. It fuzzies what we see. It fuzzies the world. It fuzzies people. It fuzzies relationships. Our perspective is skewed. And so I probably didn't see correctly, right? So what I saw was probably not what other people saw. And there were times where my kids would say something and I'd go, well, that's not what I saw. And they're telling me that, you know, and so I know that there were moments where what I was seeing was not what was actually taking place because of what they were saying. And I'm like, oh, that is not, and you know what, typically it was around my mom, me and my mom, and I love my mom to death. And I've had to grow in a lot of areas around my mom, but, and it was just this little part of me as a child that was seeing things play out the way they really were not playing out. And trauma can do that to us.
Oh yeah.
You take us back to back in time. It takes us back to the past. It can't, like you said, Michelle, earlier, it doesn't recognize if we're in the past or in the present moment. It does not distinguish past and future or present.
Right.
Not future, but present and past.
Well, future too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're telling yourself it's
right now.
Future,
Well, yeah, you're creating your future based on your past. But right in the present moment, it thinks you're living in the past, and that. And
Dr. Ed, there's one thing that Dr. Ed said on one of our masterminds. I think it was a couple of weeks ago or whatever, but it keeps staying in my mind, which is the past doesn't matter unless you live there.
Yeah.
And that is something that I just keep remembering over and over and over again. It just pops up. to remind me that that's where I don't need to be,
Right.
including just 3 years ago with my grandma saying the stuff she said at the end of her life.
Right.
I know that I did the best thing that I could have done, which was being at her bedside when she died, and playing music for her and calling everybody and putting their the phone up to her ear, and they were talking to her even though she was not conscious. She was in her,
She still heard it. She still heard it.
Knew that I did the right thing, and I did that. And I did such a loving, caring thing for her that I couldn't do for my own mother because I didn't have the opportunity.
Yeah.
That I know I did the right thing, and I know she felt it.
Yeah.
Even though she wasn't very nice to me in the last couple of years of her life, she felt it. You know what I mean? So I still feel good about it, regardless of the whole thing. I know I did the right thing.
Yeah.
Well, and oftentimes people treat the people they love the most the worst.
Yeah. Oh, agreed.
So you know what I mean?
It was only me and my mom that she could treat like that. No, my brother, he never got any of it. He never got any of it. It was just mom and I.
Well, and here goes to the comment I just made earlier. They're also treating themselves very bad. Yeah. So, when someone's coming off to you that way, just think of the way they think about themselves.
Oh, yeah. She outlived all of her children. She had 4 children. Wow. She left her first marriage, and the other kids never spoke to her again because she left them with, Terry, the baby she took with her. But the other 2 never talked to her again. I think she saw them 1 or 2 times. They were both on drugs and alcoholics and everything else. They were in, I think, Arizona. But she outlived all 4 of her kids.
Well, imagine the pain of that.
I know. And I said to myself, how horrible must that be to be the last person? You're 97. You've outlived all your family, all your husband, all your kids, and so how miserable must that be, at the end?
And dying alone, and she only had you.
Yeah.
Thank God she had you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And hearing is the last sense that goes, by the way. So thank you for sharing music with her.
Oh, yeah. I played that. I forget the name. I never listened to gospel music, I'll be honest. But it was one of those, it was a couple. They were married and the woman died of cancer. Jane, I can't think of the name. But I asked the nursing home, I said, do you guys have any CDs or anything so I can play some music? And they brought that CD, and I've never listened to it. I listened to that thing over and over and over for 2 days. I knew every song. I could sing every song for 2 days straight. And I even kept the CD. I didn't give it back to him because I loved it. Because I've got
confessions.
I know, confessions. But yeah,
here's Michelle's amends right here on
Yep.
Rising. So you hear.
What's one for you, Terry?
One for me is for sure. I was just sitting here thinking about it, and it's one of the things I've always said to myself, and one of the things I've always wanted is a beautiful home on a lake, and just a place that my family could come and just disconnect from the world and just be together as a family. And that's very important to me. And my dad always, growing up in Colorado, my dad always took us. We went boating, we went tubing, we went skiing. He loved fishing and camping. And so I love the mountains. He used to take me hunting with him. I used to cry when he would want to shoot at the deer. I'd go, no, don't shoot. And so I just have so many memories with my dad in the mountains and camping and bonfires and boating and all this stuff. And I just love the mountains, and I love lakes. I love the ocean, but I won't get in the ocean. I won't
get it either, but I like the smell.
I do too. I love the sound, and I just love nature and water, but there's nothing like being in the mountains and by a lake that you can just crystal clear water and just be in. I will get into a lake and spend hours in a lake. I love it. I love being in a boat and so I want to do that. And I'm going to start crying. I'm feeling all the emotions. And so I, at one point, told myself, you might as well just get used to you're never going to have this. You don't deserve this, and you're never going to get it. And so that is one of the things that I had told myself for a long time. And finally, over the last several years, I have said, if anybody can have it, then I can too.
Absolutely.
And
I've got no doubt.
100%.
Have a lake house.
Yeah. And so those are the things that those are thoughts that I had said to myself, and almost felt like wrong for wanting more, and just saying like how selfish you are that you would want to have all this stuff and just think about yourself. And to me, what I think is if I can have that, there's so many ways that I can give back, being able to do that,
Yeah.
and that is who I am, and to create memories with my kids. It's so much more than just having a house on a lake. Like there's laughter and just the memories. I can just see my grandkids running down to the lake and just waking up and sitting on the porch. I visualize myself walking out onto my patio and just sitting there with my cup of coffee and meditating, having my Bible sitting in front of me and just looking at that sunrise come up. And then at night, watching it go down. And I used to go to Coeur d'Alene Lake and watch the moon, pitch black, and just watch the moon. And the only light that you see on the lake is the light from the moon. Yeah. And I want to come out on my patio and sit out there and hear the water pitch black and just, I can have that. And yes. And the fact that years ago I was thinking about that means that that has always been for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just got to make it a priority.
Yeah. And so those are things that I was ashamed of thinking. How could you think about having that for yourself? And that crazy thought goes in your head. Like, one, I should be shameful for even thinking that I could live that big. And then two, you can't do this. You can never do this. Who the heck do you think you are? Right? Those
Nurse Coach Terry. That's who you freaking are.
I know.
What a slacker.
And I will do it, and I will create those memories.
I've said this on many, probably not on this, but I've done it on our mastermind call. Nobody has more to do than Terry. Good Lord. I don't know how she gets through the day. She's always got a class. She's always got something. She's always got a networking group. She's always got this. She's traveling here. She's going there. She's doing, I get tired just listening to the stuff that she accomplishes in a day.
That's what my friend Diane told me. She goes, you do more in a day than most people I know do in a friggin' year.
Purpose. Really? Purpose. I say purpose.
It's just,
it's purpose. You don't get tired. I don't get tired when it's purpose.
Yeah.
It's the thing that gets me up in the morning. It's the thing that is going through my blood. It's like you plug a battery, like the plug into the wall socket, and it charges everything. It's literally charging me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear you.
I can't.
What do you want to say? Let's wrap up this episode today so we can keep it to our time. I wanted to know, what would you say to somebody out there who's having some negative thoughts right now in their head? They're not saying them out loud. They just have them. How would you support someone?
I would say acknowledge it, journal about it. And you know what? Get some support. If you don't have support right now, seek support. And sometimes you may not have. Sometimes I didn't have a good community to be able to ask for support at the time. I had to seek out community. Dr. Ed was the person that I sought out. Now I have so many amazing friends and people within my church and people that I really, really trust. I have a life group and people that mean so much to me that I trust. I didn't have that before. I had only Dr. Ed and God, of course, but that was all that I had. So I would say get in a trusted community and share those thoughts with people. Don't keep them in and ruminate on them. ruminating
Yes.
on them breeds more of it. It brings more of that experience to your life. And then you start to see it come out in your physical body. And that can
Yes.
be in sickness, in anxiety, panic attacks, like it was coming out in me.
Yep. Yep.
Kimberly, any final thoughts on the subject?
Just to, I just think about it in this world, with social media, just let it and scroll on by. You know what I mean? Or like Terry said, if it's something that's really sticking there, journal about it. Journal about it, get it out and move on.
Yes.
Or if there's something that you need to do about it, then like Terry said, find some community, find, whoever, counselor, community, whatever that is, to help surround yourself and support yourself. And yeah, but otherwise, just thoughts are going to come, and that's okay. We don't have to hang on to them. We don't have to believe them. Our brain loves to lie to us.
Don't believe everything you think.
No, that's what I was. That's
don't believe most of it.
Yeah. And we are a trusted community here.
Yes.
So if you need support, you can always leave us a message, reach out to us, and we are happy to support you.
Yes, because we've all been there and probably still are on a daily basis.
Yes. I'll update you guys on as we go along on my journey through my physical appearance and the struggles I have with that. And I'll keep updating you on that as I work on it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. We appreciate you. We have so much love for you. And like Terry said, we are here for you. If you need us, if you want to comment below, you could also DM us on Instagram, our TikTok. We're on Instagram and TikTok. You can always DM us. We can have a private conversation with you too. We'd be happy to do that. So thanks so much for listening, guys. Like I said, we will talk to you soon. Click in the link in the show notes here that goes to our website. We have a free download that has some daily inspirational messages for the next 30 days. And we're working on some exciting stuff, some merchandise type of stuff that we are going to have as part of it. And we'll announce all that after these two get back from their amazing spiritual journey. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Bye.